3 years after President Felipe Calderón launched a war against the drug cartels, violence in Ciudad Juarez is out of control. 8 people are killed every day. Nearly 10,000 troops and federal police deployed here have not been able to stop the carnage. The drug cartels continue to smuggle narcotics into the United States, extorting businessmen and frequently turning Juarez into a battle zone.
In the last 2 years, more than 4,000 people have been killed and only 300 cases have been resolved. With that precedent, gunmen just shoot and kill without the fear of getting caught.
In 2010, Mexico was called the most dangerous city in the world. But what happened next might surprise you. Into 010 crime scenes, headlines, police tape, thousands were killed in broad daylight. Cartels ruled the streets, the murder rate, over 230 per 100,000 people, higher than a war zone.
As 2010 draws to a close, nearly 15,000 people are estimated to have been murdered in drugs-related violence in Mexico this year alone, a record which dwarfs even the number killed in Afghanistan, a country officially at war. Such statistics have inevitably led to increasing questions about the Mexican government's policy towards the country's cartels. In 2006, President Felipe Calderón declared war on Mexico's drug barons. But year on year, the violence has increased. Many will hope 2011 will be different. But for the moment, that's all it is.
900 drug-related murders in January alone. That's well above last year's monthly average. Last year, there were more than 7,500 killings, according to Mexican newspaper El Universal. 2,650 of those murders were in Ciudad Juarez on the U.S. border. Al Jazeera's Mariana Sanchez sent us this report from the city that's become known as Mexico's murder capital.
A wreath for yet another young life lost in the crossfire. 23-year-old Jesus Duarte was killed when gunmen opened fire on his car as he drove around Ciudad Juarez with his father and baby brother. Fearing retaliation, friends at the funeral did not reveal their names, but they blamed authorities for not doing enough to stop the killings.
No sirve de nada. The army is not doing anything. They're only here for the checkpoints, and sometimes they're a few blocks away from a murder scene, and they never catch anyone.
3 years after President Felipe Calderón launched a war against the drug cartels, violence in Ciudad Juarez is out of control. 8 people are killed every day. Nearly 10,000 troops and federal police deployed here have not been able to stop the carnage. The drug cartels continue to smuggle narcotics into the United States, extorting businessmen and frequently turning Juarez into a battle zone. Living in one of the most violent cities in the world has trained 58-year-old Josefina del Consuelo how to survive.
When we hear shootings, we already know there is someone dead, so we run.
Citizens of Juarez are desperate for a solution, and politicians are feeling the pressure to act. On Saturday, the state governor announced the government institutions will be moved from the state capital to Juarez. And in Mexico City, senators summoned the security cabinet to demand an explanation about why the strategy against the cartels was failing.
What's being done here so far is just contention of violence that could have an effect on the long term, but as time goes by, the mafias reorganize and threaten the state.
President Calderón will head to the city on Thursday, hoping to explain his new strategy to the residents of Ciudad Juarez.
Well, critics say that one of the biggest problems here in Juarez is that gunmen act with impunity. In the last 2 years, more than 4,000 people have been killed and only 300 cases have been resolved. With that precedent, gunmen just shoot and kill without the fear of getting caught.
And the drug revenues, nearly $20 billion a year, keep coming in. That's enough money for drug dealers to buy corrupt judges and police, weapons and drugs. It's also enough money to ensure that cases like the murder of Jesus Duarte remain unresolved.
Mexican drug gangsters are suspected in the ambush killings of 7 police officers at a busy intersection in Ciudad Juarez today. A 17-year-old boy who was passing by also died. The officers were distracted by a decoy when the gunman opened fire. Investigators said they don't know why those officers were targeted. A war among rival drug cartels and the government has killed more than 5,000 people in the past 2 years.
Fast forward to today, and something has changed. But is it really safer, or just hidden better? Comment below. Do you believe the violence is over or just buried deeper? In 2010, Ciudad was ground zero for the brutal turf war between the cartel and Sinaloa cartel. The city's murder rate peaked at over 3,500 homicides that year alone. Entire neighborhoods lived in fear. Businesses shut down. Families fled. The army patrolled the streets, but the violence only escalated. But what changed? By 2022, the murder rate had dropped by nearly 60%. Tourism picked back up. Schools reopened. People returned. So what's behind the decline? Some say stronger police tactics. Others say cartel consolidation made things more stable. Experts argue the drop isn't due to peace, it's due to control. The violence didn't vanish. It evolved. Extortion, disappearances, and femicides continue to plague the city, just not always on the front page. In 2024. Still ranked among Mexico's top 5 cities for homicides, though lower than its infamous 2010 peak, may no longer hold the title of murder capital, but behind the surface, danger still lurks. Subscribe to Real-Time Viral Crime for more deep dives into cities the media forgot, crimes that shook the world, and the real stories behind the headlines. Drop a comment. Should we cover Tijuana next, or dive deeper into cartel politics?